What's going on, guys? This is Eric, aka the Odorous Bag, coming to you with another video, the third one in my series about how to install and use Zdoom Launcher. So, you made your way through you've made your way knee deep in the dead. You've swam the shores of hell, and you also went right through an inferno and avoided having your flesh consumed. You're never too young to die, and you might be ready for some extra ultra violence. Then the answer is clear. You are ready for the world of Doom modding. Doom modding is a totally different world, and one that is far more complex than anything else you've played yet. You might have beaten all the IWADs, mastered the levels, made your way through TNT, survived Hell on Earth, and even went through the dreaded Plutonian experiments, but you still have yet to face a real challenge. That is where these come in. To quote one of my favorite YouTubers, Gigaman Lives, stepping into the world of Doom mods is like falling down the proverbial rabbit hole. Emerging in this bizarre fantasy world where people seem to speak another language and the world around you seems to have completely lost its mind. That pretty much sums up Doom modding. It's extremely expansive. If there was, I think one of my favorite things is that there's X Doom. Anyway, to get started on this, there is a few websites I want you guys to take notice of. But first, let's go ahead and prep our folders. So, that being said, what we're going to do is just like before. We are going to go ahead and we are going to go back to our main directory, and we are going to add a couple new folders. And these folders are going to be titled WADs and Mods respectively. So from the local C drive, we're going to go back to Program Files, and then we're going to go to where our Doom directory is, and then we're just going to simply type the word mods and the word WADs. Now you might be wondering why I'm specifying the two. That is an excellent question. So a WAD is more like a level pack. It's going to be multiple maps with different textures. Sometimes they may add weapons, sometimes they don't, but generally speaking, this is what covers the episodes, the levels, all those extra good stuff. Think of Back to Saturn X, Scythe 2, or the recently released Eternity. Your mods are going to be more like things that alter the gameplay. Think Combined Arms or Brutal Doom. Brutal Doom probably being the more popular of the two. Going into where you would find these, there are three websites I'd want you to take a look of. So first we have Mod Database, or ModDB. This is a great resource for your weapons mods. This is where all the newer stuff gets released. You're not going to find too many levels here, but what you are going to find are your weapons. So this could be anything from this Edge TC to the Doom 64 community project, which we'll get to Doom 64 stuff in a later date. But yes, so it's like this is where you're going to find your mods. If you're going to get into older levels like BF Thud, Memento Mori, or Batman, or just a lot of different older WADs and mods, you're going to want to come here. This is the id Games Archive, Doom World's answer to a lot of the sites that shut down. Then we have finally the forums at Doom World. These are excellent resources for your levels, your WADs, everything. This is where pretty much most of the community resides, and I highly suggest you interact with them. They're extremely helpful. So we want to get a WAD, right? We want to get something good. If you're just starting out with WADing, I highly suggest coming here first and getting some of the older stuff. Someone like me, I wouldn't exactly consider myself the most strictest of skilled players, but I was able to get through the entire game of NJ Doom, which is one of the first megawads. It's kind of contested between Aliens Total Conversion and Rage Doom. I found NJ Doom to be on the mid-tier of difficulty and definitely is a great introduction into custom mapping. Granted, if you want something a little bit newer, I would then recommend something like it's the map pack that was by Sergeant Mark. Oh, Hell on Earth starter pack. There we go. Both of those will be linked in the description below, but I just wanted to give a quick shout out to those. Now, if you're really just trying to see what the best of the best is and you really want to test your metal, then I would definitely come here to the CACO Awards. These are guaranteed to be good mods, and these are guaranteed to actually fulfill getting you started. So what we're going to do is let's go ahead and go to the top 10 page 1, and here's the first entry, Avocador. So let's go ahead and get this. It's a kind of like a Hawaiian themed map, and we're just gonna look and try and find that download link. A lot of this is gonna be in forums, and here you go. And Doom World is very heavily moderated. Nobody's gonna try screwing you over, though I do suggest maybe going ahead and scanning your files before actually installing them. Now that we've downloaded avocador.wad, we're gonna go to our wads, and just like anything else, let's go ahead and make a specific directory. You're gonna want to do this for your wads, as even though Avocador is just a single wad, it's still good practice to kind of put everything in their own directory, because sometimes the creators will release zip files that contain multiple files that you'll need, as newer textures and maybe some alterations to the guns. I know Valiant has like 3 or 4 different files, and they're all PK3, which is another kind of zip file. So don't extract PK3 files. If it's zip or RAR, extract those. PK3 you can load in Zdoom Launcher. That being said, so now we have Avocador in its own folder. So let's go ahead and minimize our browser, and let's go ahead and go here to the Zdoom Launcher. Now, most WADs you'll download that are newer are going to work with Zdoom, are going to work with GZDoom, all of these. But in terms of the iWads, it's really mainly going to focus on Doom 2. A lot of WADs really like using the Revenant and the Chain Gunners, which once you play the main iWads, you'll run into them. And these and TNT kind of set the bar for Chain Gunner usage and Revenant usage, as it's very prevalent in Platonia and TNT. But most games will just use the base for Doom 2 and then just add to it. So in order to go ahead and load a WAD, let's go ahead and go back to our directory, find WADs, find Avocador, and there's avocador.wad. And then it's just as simple as hitting the launch button. And there you go. And then you can always just full screen it. And now we're in. And as you can see, it is much more of a lion kind of filled world. And I think I was supposed to fall off there. There we go. And you can just kind of explore and look around and see what's going on, and kind of just test the waters out. Now I can tell you right now, Avocador is very hard. If you're just starting out with WADs, I would highly suggest going with not ultraviolence. I would highly suggest going with Hurt Me Plenty. Anyway, that's enough of that. So let's say we want to add a weapons mod. This is where we go to mod database. Mod database is going to have a lot of what we want in that regard. I highly suggest, if you're starting out with weapons mods, to do Brutal Doom. It's the bar. I don't really know what I can say that hasn't already been said about Brutal Doom, and it's actually really, really good. You can see that there's a lot that are based off of the Brutal Doom mod. There you go. This is the latest folder. This is the latest zip file, and we're just going to go ahead and download it. And then once that's done downloading, we can just open it and then extract it to the proper directory. So let's go ahead and get there right now while that's downloading, and just create the folder and just call it Brutal Doom. And then what I would do for weapons mods is make sure you create subdirectories that are reminiscent of the version, as they do keep them updated, and it's good to like not override that data so that you get to keep some of the original weapons. And there it is. So what we're going to do then, close out of that, and we are going to open up our directory. Drag and drop. And it's really that simple. Then let's go ahead and close this WinRAR file. Let's go ahead and evocators, we already have evocator loaded. Now I wouldn't recommend doing this with evocator, as it does change a lot of the base stuff, but I'm pretty sure Brutal Doom will still work. And it's, once again, just that simple. Go into the directory, find the file, and then load it and launch it. And as you can see, the WAD once again loaded, and then you just go ahead and do a rifle start, Hell on Earth, and there you go. We're now in. Weapons mod does change quite a bit. So just be aware of that. And yeah, and then you just, play to your heart's content. And as you can see, it changes. And they'll also add things like reload animations and things like that. It really is a wonderful world to discover. And that really concludes my video. It's really just this simple. It's just as simple as dragging and dropping. We've already covered all the hard stuff, so I am more than confident you are able at this point to just load whatever you want. Granted, future videos are going to focus on more complex subjects like boot order, but for the time being, I feel this is a good medium ground. I am the Odorous Bag. Thanks for watching. I am out.